Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about conflict resolution in families. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about family conflict and what types of circumstances you might be finding yourself in, and then we're going to talk about calm ways that you can deliberately resolve family conflict so that it will lead to more unity in the future. Did you know that having family conflict is actually part of family growth? It is when families are able to overcome some of their problems that can actually bring them together. Now, I do not recommend causing family conflict just to increase our family connection or our family resiliency, because sometimes that can actually backfire. And that's not the very, very best way to bring our family together and increase our family unity. However, going through problems together can ultimately, at the end of it all, increase respect, increased understanding, and increased tolerance for some of the people around us who might be just a little bit different than we are. It is very common within the family unit for people to be judgmental, for people to place blame, create excuses for their own behaviors. All of these things start to wear on the members of the family, and this can end up creating bad feelings, frustrations. Oftentimes within a family, we think that other people understand how we're feeling. We think that they must see very clearly because we're not doing a very good job hiding it, or just because they know us so well, when in reality they may not. So then we can end up having those feelings canker within us, creating a wound or a sore that then becomes very painful every time we're with those other people, because we assume that they know information that they don't care about. I think a lot of family conflict actually stems from this belief that the other people in the family don't actually care about you. So one of the key things that we can do in order to solve family conflicts is to make sure that we create an environment where open communication is established. Now, if your family hasn't had open communication up to this point, it can be a little bit of a labor of love to try to institute a new way of communication, but it's absolutely possible and it's totally worth it. One time I was meeting with a family. There was 2 daughters and 2 parents. The 2 daughters were almost adult age and were having a hard time bonding with their parents. One of them had anxiety, the other one was having some severe disobedience issues, and the parents were worried about the health and safety of their children. But the children felt like that the parents were just trying to shut them down. So as I sat down to have a meeting with these 4 people, just in an effort to help maybe mediate a little bit about what was going on with them, I said to the one daughter, I said, "So, are you doing this disobedience because you actually think that that's what you have to do to get some things to go your way? Do you think that your mom and dad would not want you to have those types of experiences? Or that they would judge you for it or think you're bad for that?" She paused and she said, "Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to do when I'm having that type of stress." And I said to the parents, "Do you actually feel that way about her, that you don't want her to know how to manage her stress and that you want her to have stress and never be able to talk to anyone about it?" And they were like, "No, we want to help her with her stress, but we want her to find productive ways to handle her stress and not things that are going to be destructive for her." And then I said, "Do you actually enjoy doing these destructive things when you think about it after the fact?" And she's like, "Well, no, I hate it, but I don't know anything else to do." And I said, "Well, how about we come up with a way where you guys can talk about what you hope for each other and how you can help each other. How about we make a plan?" And we took this little bit of time and made a plan for how they could help each other, and boom, everything changed in their relationship. I saw them the next day and they were like, "Oh, life is so good." And they were so smiling and they're like, "We're so united." And the parents were like, "Thank you so much." And I mean, it was just amazing Just bringing a few things into the light, empowering them to communicate with each other in an open way. And the parent said to me, we never thought of just saying it like that. Just saying, hey, this is what you're doing. Are you doing this because of this? And really giving them the benefit of the doubt. We never thought about that because we were taking it so personally, because we're so worried. The daughters saw how much their parents loved them, and the parents saw how worried their daughters were also about pleasing them, and that there was a gap in there that they needed to fill. They were having unnecessary conflict all of the time with these teenage daughters, and just bringing things into the light made all the change. Now, that wasn't the only thing that this family learned how to do. They also attended one of my parenting mastery trainings, and at the parenting mastery training, they learned all of the skills and principles of self-government. They learned how to disagree appropriately with each other. They learned how to correct each other and how to accept corrections. They learned how to follow instructions and accept no answers. They learned key things about their calmness and their brains and how they were communicating with each other and how they could do so in a better way. So having the key skills of communication and having that open understanding and communication format where you bring things into the light was really the recipe that they needed for solving these problems. So they did need to know how to correct things when things were going wrong. That was important. To do a really good correction does not require anything negative, mean, emotional, angry. In fact, you can have a very positive interaction and have it turn out to be a correction. A parent can go up to a child and just describe something that's happening, why it might not be a good idea, explain what they should do instead, and then maybe even practice it the right way, praise them for their successes, and then allow the child the opportunity to accept whatever consequence that they've earned because of that decision. And the child can go away feeling like, you know what, I got this, I'm not going to have this problem in the future, and my parents actually care about me. So what I'm talking about there with a correction is actually going back to a concept that's really important for self-government, and that's being pre-planned ahead of time. So with this family, when I met with them, we made a plan, and then they had a map going forward. So with the teaching self-government parenting approach, I help people develop the scripts that they need, or the words that they need and the patterns that they want to deliver them, so that they can actually accomplish their goals. And those scripts are all based on principles of self-government and freedom that can help the entire family be more united and feel more liberated and free from that emotional bondage that sometimes creates that conflict within the family. One of the key scripts that really can make or break the family dynamic is the script that is happening internally within each of us about our own feelings, our own thoughts, our own emotions, our calmness. Can we get to a place of calmness? Do we even understand what calmness is for us? When a person is calm, then they have a calm face, a calm voice, a calm body. They have a calm mind too. They're able to say, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to choose to think about this instead. They stay in that logical part of the brain, which helps them to better understand what other people around them are saying as well. So this is going to increase understanding. Your calmness is key to your success as a family. The family needs to understand we will not solve any problems until we get to a place of calmness. If they understand that, then the family will first focus on themselves, getting themselves ready, then they will be able to appeal to their problem-solving scripts in order to help them solve the problems with each other. And if you have the skills of self-government and some helpful scripts and an understanding of calmness, you have the recipe that you need in order to create an environment of understanding instead of an environment of conflict. Now, about calmness, I'd really like to give you a free gift that will help you and your family with calmness. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit that's a little mini course with 10 tools for calmness. It's quite quick to go through, but it should be actually really helpful as you're trying to learn to self-govern yourself. It is not my entire teaching self-government parenting system, but it will help you as a step to getting yourself ready for learning some of those other scripts that you need. So if you would like the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free, go to my website, teachingselfgovernment.com today, and get the Calm Parenting Toolkit there.